challenges, in our opinion, seem to have overwhelmed our security institutions.
The governors are supposed to be the state security officers of their state.
There is need for us to at least engage the traditional rulers.
We need to do something about our porous borders.
We have to own it from the unit level to the ward level to the local government to state.
Mr. President, the importance of today for us is for us to take action.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The expenditure of 369.04 billion be approved for 2022 financial year for custom and exercise.
Senate passes 2022 budget of the Nigerian Customs Service.
The security of lives and property will continue to be the most important purpose of our government.
And Senate President assures Nigerians of government commitment to protecting lives and property. This is Inside the Senate. I am Hussaina Amina Aboki, your regular anchor. On this episode of the program, we have reports of some bills and motions considered by the Senate. One of such is the 2022 budget of the Nigerian Customs Service, which was considered clause by clause and approved before the short Easter break. Several bills also scaled second reading during that period. There were also motions considered that had to do with bandits' attack on communities in Plateau and Benue States, amongst others. For details of these, join me after this short break.
The Senate to send a message to the President
to reap opportunities from that
to raise a matter of urgent public importance.
And we are aware that when this particular motion comes up,
for a longer term development, arise to second the motion.
Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Welcome back. On the front burner of plenary before the Senate's Easter break was the consideration and passage of the 2022 budget of the Nigerian Customs Service. Having worked on the budget, the Committee on Custom presented its report on Wednesday, the 13th of April 2022. In his presentation, the committee chairman, Senator Francis Ali Mikena, disclosed the 2021 revenue performance of the Nigerian Customs Service and its achievements as follows. Revenue target 1.679 trillion naira. Amount realized 1.716 trillion naira. Value added tax on imports 525.06 billion naira, representing 33.20% increase compared with the collection of 350.63 billion naira in 2020. In the light of the above-mentioned achievement in 2021, the committee gave the following recommendation for the 2022 fiscal year.
That the revenue collection of 3 trillion 19 billion 133 million 200,308 naira only, and that the expenditure of 369.04 billion be approved for 2022 financial year for custom and exercise.
That the revenue collection of 3 trillion 19 billion 133 million 200,318 naira only, and B, on page 5, that the expenditure of 369.04 billion naira be approved for 2022 financial year. Those in favor of this recommendation say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Lawmakers supported the recommendation, as a result of which it was adopted and approved as recommended. The Senate also acted on President Muhammadu Buhari's request for the confirmation of the appointment of nominees for the positions of Executive Commissioners for the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission on Wednesday, the 13th of April 2022. The report on this, alongside others, are compiled and presented from our studio.
Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federation on the confirmation of nomination of Dr. Nuhu.
The confirmation followed the presentation of the report on the Committee on Petroleum Upstream, which screened the nominees. The report was presented by Senator Ayo Akinyelure on behalf of the chairman, Senator Albert Basi Akpan.
The committee, after screening exercise, deliberated on the suitability of the nominees for appointment as members to executive commissioners of the Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission, and hereby make the following observation. 1. That the appointment of the nominees satisfy the requirements of Section 11 and 18, subsection 1 to 5 of the Petroleum Industrial Act 2021. 2. That the nominees possess the requisite qualification, leadership, qualities, and comportment to discharge the statutory duties and functions of the various offices of members of executive commissioners of the Commission. 3. That there are no adverse reports against the nominees, as record checks and other forms of investigation by the Scottish agency did not reveal any negative trace against them. 4. That there is no petition against the nominations of any of the nominees. 5. That the committee is satisfied about their qualification, experience, suitability, competence, and integrity to assume the position of member, so executive commissioners of Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission. And 6. That the nominees are fit and proper person for appointment.
As a result, the recommendation was considered in the Committee of the Whole, leading to their confirmation.
The Senate and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Petroleum Resources Upstream on the screening of Mr. President's nominees for appointment as Executive Commissioners for Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission.
Those confirmed and their positions are as follows. Dr. Nuhu Habib, Executive Commissioner, Development and Production, Northwest, Kano State. Dr. Kelechi Onyekachio Afogbu, Executive Commissioner, Economic Regulations and Strategic Planning, Southeast Imo State. Captain Tonlaha Roland John, Executive Commissioner, Health, Safety, Environment and Community, South-South Delta State. And Mr. Jide Adeola, Commissioner, Corporate Services and Administration. The Senate also considered several bills for second reading. One of them was a bill seeking the repeal of the Immigration and Prison Services Board and replacing it with the Internal Affairs Services Board. It was titled Immigration and Prison Services Board Act, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2022 and sponsored by Senator George Sekibo. He gave reasons for the bill even in the face of the second reading of a similar one, the Immigration and Prison Services Board 2004 Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2022, sponsored by the Senate leader on Tuesday the 12th of April 2022.
When the Immigration and Prison Services Board Act was enacted by the National Assembly, it was to administer on these two agencies. But with the growth of time, two other agencies have been placed under it: the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps and the Nigerian Fire Services. This, coupled with the change of the name, the Nigerian Prison Services to Nigerian Correctional Services, there is a need to harmonize all the four agencies into one act. The bill seeks to establish the Internal Affairs Services Board, which shall be responsible for the administration of the Immigration, the Nigerian Correctional Services Act, the Nigerian Civil Defense Act, and the Nigerian Fire Services Act, bringing all of them together. The board shall have power to make recommendations to the President for the appointment of the heads of affected services, subject to the confirmation of the Senate, which is directly in sync with the current thinking of the legislature as reflected in the enactment of the Nigerian Correctional Services Act.
No debate was taken on the bill, as a result of which it scaled second reading and was referred to the Senate Committee on Interior to report back in 4 weeks. Also same day, two bills seeking the establishment of health and education-related tertiary institutions were presented for second reading. They included the Federal University of Health Services Azare Bauchi State Establishment Bill 2022, as well as the Federal College of Education Jamari Bauchi State Establishment Bill 2022. That was sponsored by Senator Barrow Jibril.
I want to inform this August Senate that this institution has already been established. These two bills want to do is to give legal backing for their establishment. The establishment of this institution is informed by the imperative to create more access to higher health and medical studies in view of the large number of qualified candidates who are annually stranded in their failed attempt in gaining admission into higher institutions in the state and indeed the entire country. The health sector has a very high potentials and requires high-level medical, scientific, and administrative skills to drive it. The establishment of the university will go a long way into achieving these targets.
One contribution was taken in support of the bill.
I so second, Mr. President, that this bills be read the second time.
After second reading, the first bill was referred to the Committee on Health, while second was referred to the Committee on Tertiary Education to report back in 4 weeks.
Those were reports of bills considered by the Senate in the week under review. Let's now open our notebook segment. Stand by for our topic of the week.
Constituency projects are developmental activities aimed at bringing the dividends of democracy by the federal and state governments to the doorsteps of the constituents. They are awarded, financed and executed by the relevant agencies of the executive arm of government, with the elected representatives of the people in the National and States Assembly playing only the role of identifying projects most relevant to the need of their constituents. By extension, the legislators have no direct control over the financing of constituency projects. The role they play is to ensure that what they have identified as the need of their constituents are properly executed for their benefits.
The only way out of the pandemic is for the population to observe the recommended measures advised by the NCDC. The Senate Committees on Health and Primary Health Care and Communicable Diseases will continue to engage with the Federal Ministry of Health and the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19.
Welcome back. Earlier on Tuesday, the 12th of April 2022, another bill, the Franchising Regulation Bill 2022, was presented for second reading by Senator Tokunbo Abiru. According to the sponsor, the bill seeks to create a framework for the regulation of franchising and to guide the relationship between franchisors and franchisees. He added that the bill, when passed, would, amongst other things, impose certain obligations and prohibit certain actions, promote the growth of franchising through the adoption of international best practices that would balance the interests of the franchisors and the franchisees, as well as enhance the capacity of the National Office of Technology Acquisition and Promotion for effective regulation, administration, and enforcement of provisions of franchising as provided for in the bill. The sponsor started with a definition of franchising and its benefit to Nigeria when the bill is passed.
A franchise can be defined as an agreement or contract between a party, X, known as a franchisor, or who has a business either in the form of selling of services or products, where X gives another party, Y, referred to as the franchisee, the permission or license to sell the same services or products with the trademark of the franchisor and the support backup services and guidelines of the franchisor. Franchising is a tested business model capable of being a catalyst for economic development, especially for small and medium-scale enterprises in Nigeria. In the hotel hospitality business, for example, we are all familiar with the following foreign franchises. You have the Sheraton brand, you have the Hilton, you have the Marriott, the Radisson, and Southern Soul, etc. Today, the absence of regulation by way of statute has left many franchises in the cold. This bill therefore sets out to ameliorate this.
The bill was debated.
If we are going to develop, and if Nigeria is going to diversify our economy, franchising is one of the tools that can be used, that has actually been used in all these developed countries. Franchising can even have relation to even the insecurity that we are having. We can use franchising to even ameliorate the challenges on unemployment that we are presently having. When we leave it unregulated, then clearly we will not get the much needed and desired benefit from franchising. I want to implore my colleagues to support this very important bill, because in doing that we will have helped our economy, we will have helped in the diversification of our economy, we will have helped because this will employ so many of our young ones, even so many of what I call all these small and medium-scale enterprises.
I also believe it's an opportunity for Nigeria to signpost itself within the African continent, especially if you look at the African Continental Free Trade Agreement that we expect over the next years will begin to take, a life of its own. And given the creativity and innovativeness of our young Nigerians, I think doing this will help them so that they also can have very innovative products that they'll be willing to take to other countries.
The issue of franchising is something that is currently happening in Nigeria, but needs to be regulated, because what is happening is that a lot of the franchisors are taking advantage of the franchisees here in Nigeria. So I think this is a very good bill. It's a very brilliant bill. I think it's a bill that will only strengthen our economy, and I think it's one that we need to support and one that needs to be regulated.
As a result, the bill scaled second reading and referred to the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters to report back in 4 weeks. Several bills already passed and forwarded to the President for assent were recommitted to the Committee of the Whole for more legislation. They include Defense Research and Development Bureau (DRDB) Bill, FCT Area Council Bill, Federal College of Education Benue Jigawa State Establishment Bill, as well as Federal University of Technology Auchi Edo State Establishment Bill.
Some fundamental issues which require fresh legislative action by both chambers of the National Assembly emerge after a critical analysis of the bill by Mr. President. A critical committee of the Senate and House of Representatives and the Directorate of Legal Services met and reworked the bill.
Accordingly, the bills were reconsidered in the Committee of the Whole and passed. Meanwhile, several bills scaled first reading before the Senate proceeded on the Easter break. Let's take this report on the bills and other matters as compiled and presented from our studio.
I rise to move that the vote on proceedings of Tuesday the 12th April.
Some of these included National Energy Security Council Bill 2022 sponsored by Senator Teslim Folarin, Social Welfare Service Bill 2022 sponsored by Senator Oji Uzo Kalu, Coastal and Inland Shipping Cabotage Act Amendment Bill 2022 sponsored by Senator Oji Uzo Kalu, National Hajj Commission Act Amendment Bill 2022 sponsored by Senator Ibrahim Dambaba, Mandatory inclusion of national ethics and civic education in the curriculum of primary and secondary schools in Nigeria Bill 2022, sponsored by Senator Mohammed Enegi. National Minimum Wage Act Amendment Bill 2022, sponsored by Senator Smart Adeyemi.
The clerk of the Senate really short title of the bill.
Similarly, more bills seeking the establishment of specialized tertiary institutions scaled first reading. They included Federal University of Sports Afuze Edo State Establishment Bill 2022 sponsored by Senator Yahaya Abdullahi, Federal College of Fisheries, Aquaculture and Environmental Studies Olukwana Osun State Establishment Bill 2022 sponsored by Senator Aderele Oriolowo. Away from bills, the horrendous activity of armed bandits in Plateau State, particularly in Plateau Central Senatorial District, was once again reported to the Senate on Wednesday, the 13th of April 2022. The matter was brought up by Senator Hezekiah Dimka under personal explanation, who disclosed that the attack resulted in the killing of over 100 persons and displacement of a lot more.
In Kanam local government, where we have 4 communities overrun by bandits, including Karam, Dongur, Gembu, Fukawa, Yelwa, Dada, Wanka, and Shuwaka, with over 107 people killed in one day. The attack has led to displacement of thousands of people now in IDP camps without shelter, care, and livelihood. Concerned that the attackers came on over 70 bikes in Dogus assault rifles, killing everyone at sight, including pregnant women, children, and the elders.
Also under personal explanation, Senator Emmanuel Okejev also reported a similar attack in parts of Benue State.
Around 9 o'clock on Monday, armed bandits rained terror on 2 communities in Benue State, Tier 2 in Taka local government and Badwen in Goma local government, leading to the death of at least 25 persons. As we speak, Mr. President, some people are yet unaccounted for, and we may still have a high figure of fatalities in respect to these attacks. Less than 2 weeks back, similar attacks occurred in another local government known as Gwe West local government, also in my senatorial district. That led to the death of at least 10 persons. So it looks like Benue again has been targeted. Thousands of people were already in IDP camps before now. So you can imagine with these recent attacks, you have more people going into IDP camp in a state that is known as the food basket of the nation.
Matters under personal explanation are not open to debate. However, the Senate President commented,
"We totally condemn these killings, and for us in the National Assembly, and indeed this administration, the security of lives and property will continue to be the most important purpose of our government. And we owe this to Nigerians, and therefore we shouldn't stop at anything to secure the lives of our citizens."
Consequently, the Senate, amongst other things, adopted the following resolutions. Urged the Nigerian Military High Command and the Inspector General of Police to secure the communities affected from the threat of further attacks, as well as urged the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development in collaboration with the National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA) to provide relief materials to the victims of the attacks.
We'll now take a break for our profile segment. Stand by for our Senator of the Week.
Senator Oluremi Tinubu represents Lagos Central Senatorial District under APC. She attended Our Lady of Apostles Secondary School, Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State, for her West African School Certificate in 1979, Adeyemi College of Education for a National Certificate of Education (NCE) in Botany and Zoology, as well as the University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, for a degree in education. She was elected to the Senate in the 2015 general elections and served till 2019, and re-elected in the 2019 general elections, serving till date. She is the chairman, Senate Committee on Communications, and a member of several other committees. An author and a philanthropist, Senator Oluremi Tinubu is also a recipient of the National Award of the Officer of the Order of the Niger (OON), as well as international awards from Ghana and Gambia, amongst other countries. Among her legislative interests are children and women development, education, and economy.
With this, we come to the end of our program. Join us next week for another package. Thanks for watching.